What is up, everybody? Welcome to another video. As today, we have the Central Division. We have the Giannis Division. And yeah, this will be fairly similar to the last video I did where I broke down the Eastern Conference. The main difference is I don't have a Central jersey, so I have this Concordia University Wisconsin shirt, and that's as central as I've got. So this division is very weak, if I had to say. They have the one of the MVP favorites in Giannis, but then after that they have two playoff contenders, I guess you could say, in the Pacers and Bulls, and then you have the bottom division in the Pistons and Cavaliers. So yeah, it's nowhere near the strength of the Atlantic Division, but yeah. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. But before we do, please leave a like and subscribe. It would mean the world, and you can always unsubscribe whenever you want. So let's start off with the Detroit Pistons. My questions for the Detroit Pistons are: will Derrick Rose disappear, and can Killian Hayes fit in? Yes, those seem very connected, and they are. But starting off, will Derrick Rose disappear? And by that I mean, will he get traded? And yes, I believe so. I think I should probably think about what I'm trying to say. Yes, Derrick Rose, I think, will get traded. I think there's a very small chance that D Rose is not traded by the end of the year. I have no idea where he could get traded to. But the words I've written here is that I think the Pistons are decent enough that when they realize they suck, they will trade D Rose either to a contender for either a young piece or a future draft pick, whatever they can get to help them in their rebuild. So I know the rumors were Derrick Rose goes to the Lakers. I don't think that's going to happen this year, especially because they actually had quite a few free agent signings. So I don't think he's going to the Lakers. Clippers maybe. But I don't know exactly where he's going to go. But I do think he will be gone by the trade deadline. So that leads into, can Killian Hayes fill in for Derrick Rose? And I think absolutely. Everything I've seen about Killian Hayes before and in this training camps for the Pistons has been amazing. And I expect him to compete for Rookie of the Year. Like, Killian Hayes has looked absolutely astonishing. Looks really good. So I'm hoping. So I think yes, he can absolutely fill in the shoes that Derrick Rose will leave behind. So what are we going to expect from the Pistons? One, they're gonna suck. They're gonna suck. It's not gonna be good. I think their only bright spot will really be Killian. But yeah, the reason they're gonna suck is they have too many bigs, in my opinion. If you go and look at their starting five, they have 3 people over 6'9", which is fine. But all 3 of them play like a power forward center position with Jeremy Grant, Balake Griffin, and Mason Plumlee. Sorry. Yeah, that the floor spacing is non-existent. The bench depth is atrocious, and they have no star outside of Balake. So yeah, the only positive note I can really pick up from this year for the Pistons is Killian will definitely compete for Rookie of the Year, if not win it. So moving on to the Cleveland Cavaliers. My questions for the Cavs, for the Cavs season we're going to see, is will Garland and Sexton backcourt work out? And number 2, will Drummond come back? So yeah, will the Garland and Sexton backcourt work? I think no. I didn't think it was going to work from the moment they drafted Garland. I think Sexton can play the shooting guard, but I think you get more length. If you get a playmaking 2 guard, that would be the best fit for this Cavaliers team. But Garland can be a 6-man. But I just don't think the fit with him and Sexton just really works. But with Colin Sexton, I think he's going to be at an all-star level. I think he will be the main offensive scoring output for the Cavs, and I think will play very well with Drummond. Speaking of Drummond, will he come back? This is another, I don't know for sure, but what it boils down to for me, and probably for him, are money and winning. Those are the two things that it typically boils down to. And like, you want a lot of money, but you also want to go somewhere and win. For Drummond, those are two very different things. If you want the money, way over here, you stay with the Cavs. You're not gonna get anywhere near the amount of money that the Cavs would pay you if he accepts the player option. However, if you want to win, you gotta get as far away from Cleveland as you can. Like, if you want to win, you gotta get the heck out of there, because Drummond's getting older, and the Cavs won't win for a couple more years. But yeah. So to answer that, I think if Drummond is smart, he leaves. I think the team specifically, like the Celtics, need a center. Drummond can fit in. I'm trying to think of someone else. The Wizards could be one looking for someone like Drummond if Thomas Bryant doesn't prove out to be who they want him to be. But yeah, those are two teams that just popped into mind. The Grizzlies, maybe. Yeah, that's what I got right now. But I think Drummond the smart move here would be for Drummond to leave. So how good will the Cavs be? They will also suck, shockingly. As I mentioned, Garland isn't it. Like, he's not going to be the future starter for this Cavs team. Isaac Okoro needs to develop more offensively. So whether it's next year or the year after or even later, then they'll start to win. But until Isaac Okoro can develop an offensive game, the Cavs just aren't going to be too good. His defense is great. The fact that he already has some of the best defense in the draft, great. But he needs to develop offensively, as we will see with another prospect coming up pretty soon. And then my final point, the bright spot for the Cavaliers is Sexton and Drummond. I think will play at an all-star caliber level, specifically Colin Sexton, I think, as he gets into the all-star game. So, the Chicago Bulls are next. My questions for them are, will Patrick Williams be worth the pick? And number 2, can Lauri bounce back? Starting off with, will Patrick Williams be worth the pick? I'm gonna say probably not, if I'm being honest. I did see they played earlier today, and he looked pretty good. So I'm hoping he can prove me wrong. But I think a lot of things need to go right in order for Patrick Williams to be considered a good draft pick. He has loads of potential, loads of it. The defense on the offensive side. But it's going to take some time, I think. It'll take a lot of time, or maybe it'll take a couple years for Patrick Williams to develop into everything that he can be. The thing that really concerns me, is I think it did with everyone else, is he didn't start a single game in college. Like, he was the sixth man. So that scares me a little bit. But I think Billy Donovan, because they spent the 4th overall pick on him, they need to give him some leeway with just about everything. I'd say have him coming off the bench for now. But then once he comes, as when he's on the court, let him do whatever he wants to do, I would say, or whatever they feel would help him best develop. And I think letting him figure NBA defenses out, figure out how to play defense at an NBA level, and then yes, he can develop into a very I think the comparison was a Kawhi Leonard-ish, Kawhi Leonard-esque player. But yeah, it'll take a lot of development in order for him to come close to what Kawhi is. So second, can Lauri Markkanen bounce back? And I think absolutely. He is going from Jim Boylan to Billy Donovan. I I don't think you have to be too smart to realize that's a big difference. Billy Donovan is a lot better than Jim Boylan. Like he, it's going to work out pretty well for Lauri Markkanen. I think Lauri's extremely talented, as we saw in his first 2 years. Extremely talented, but I think with Billy Donovan being the best coach he's had, at least I think he will be. I think Billy Donovan will be the best coach that Markkanen has had, unless I'm just completely forgetting about the his first coach. Anyway, I think Lauri Markkanen needs to be good this year. I saw videos like this is a make or break, like who has a make or break season this year, and Markkanen was on that list. I don't know if it's a make or break year, but it's definitely a big year for Lauri that he needs to prove that last year was just due to bad coaching, and he needs to be good if the Bills want to compete. So, how well will the Bulls do? I think they'll be fighting for the play-in tournament. I think they'll be right in the mix of it, like right outside the playoffs. I think a game or so back of even the 7th seed, but still could end up anywhere from the 7th to the 10th seed, even being a game or two back. But I think they can definitely make the playoffs if everything goes right. But so let's just throw out this hypothetical. For the absolute best the Chicago Bulls could be, was Zach LaVine puts up MVP type numbers. The Patrick Williams pick turns into Kawhi Leonard immediately. Kobe White wins Most Improved Player. Lauri Markkanen competes for the Most Improved Player and turns into pretty much Dirk. I've also seen maybe he turns into a Gallinari-esque player. Specifically, mainly because that's the closest comparison we can make with a Billy Donovan player to similar to Lauri Markkanen. And finally, Wendell Carter Jr. Wins Defensive Player of the Year. So I think that's the absolute, for the most part, except for Kobe White, the absolute potentials of each of these players. And I don't think it's going to happen. I think Kobe White and Markkanen can definitely compete for Most Improved Player. But all the other three, I think that's the absolute dream scenario for any Bulls fan would be LaVine wins MVP, or at least puts up MVP type numbers. Patrick Williams translate immediately, but yeah, I definitely think Kobe White and Lauri Markkanen can compete for Most Improved Player this year. But overall, a pretty average year for the Chicago Bulls. And talking about average, we have the Indiana Pacers up next. My questions for them are, does Oladipo really want to be there? And can Bubble TJ become regular season TJ? So starting off the first one, does Oladipo want to be there? We have received two answers from this. Publicly, he says, yes, I want to be here. But there have been reports of him saying, no, I do not want to be here. And hence why this is a question I have. I think he should stay in Indiana. Because Oladipo, when healthy, is a star. He is an absolute amazing player. And he can lead this Indiana team to playoff success. It's a very solid roster. And Oladipo can absolutely be the leader of this team. And the comparison I drew was to PG 24, with how Paul George was not the star that he is now, but was still extremely good. Was still a star in the league, making All-Star games. But he alone wouldn't, going up against the Miami Heat, he alone was not enough to topple that, and he had a very solid roster behind it with Lance Stevenson, Roy Hibbert, and I think this Pacers roster is very, very well rounded. You have potentially great point guard in Malcolm Brogdon, potentially, as I'll get to in a second, a great offensive threat in T.J. Warren, and then you have all-star caliber player Domantas Sabonis and a very amazing defensive player in Miles Turner. So yeah, this team could definitely, if Oladipo comes back healthy and comes back to the level that we remember him being, then this team can have playoff success. Mainly because of how well built this roster is. Especially, they actually have a pretty good bench depth too, with both two of the Holidays, Doug McDermott, Jeremy Lamb. Granted, it's not the deepest of benches. It's not like the Raptors bench or the Celtics bench of 2 years ago. But still, it's a pretty well-rounded team. And with shoot, I forgot the name of their coach. Never mind about that. But second question: can Bubble TJ become regular season TJ? Yes, he can. But like Patrick Williams, a lot needs to go right for TJ. I don't think it's going to happen this year. I think it'll happen if Oladipo leaves. Then TJ is just without question the best offensive player on his team. With Oladipo, I guess you could say I still think TJ Warren is the best offensive player on this team. But with Oladipo there, he is the star, he can provide offensively, but he is also mainly star because of his defense. So if Oladipo leaves, then definitely TJ, I expect the bubble TJ Warren to become the regular season TJ Warren, what we should expect from him year in and year out. But I don't think it'll happen this year. It very well could. If Oladipo is nowhere near the level that he's expected, TJ Warren can definitely step up and fill in that offensive role and still lead this Pacers team to the playoffs. But yeah, it's a very well-rounded team. And I think the comparison to very early Paul George is, I think, good fit for this. So, what to expect from the Pacers? About average. Nothing too exciting. Basically Indiana. They're nothing too exciting, but nothing really bad happens there. It's just Indiana. That's the Pacers. But yeah, if they were at the absolute best, the absolute best this team could be, is that you have two All-Star caliber players like you did in Oladipo and Sabonis. Miles Turner competes for the Defense Player of the Year award. Bubble TJ is the real thing, and Malcolm Brogdon just becomes the playmaker, feeding TJ and Oladipo, Sabonis the ball, and playing great defense. So that's the absolute best, but I think reality for Pacers fans, I'd expect Sabonis to play at an all-star level. I would expect TJ Warren not to be full-out bubble TJ Warren, but maybe a step up from what he was in the last year's regular season. And as I expect, Oladipo will be slow to come back. He will not return to all-star caliber right away. And Miles Turner, Miles Turner, I don't think has had his stats improve ever since he was a rookie. They've literally been the exact same stats. So if Miles Turner could take a step up in points and rebounds, that would be nice. But I honestly don't expect him to. And finally, the Milwaukee Bucks, sorry. My two questions, I think, are two of the biggest questions in the NBA, considering this is the best team with the best record. Will Giannis come back? And can Giannis lead them to a championship? So I'm going to actually go ahead and start with the second question here. Can Giannis lead them to a championship? Abso-friggin-lutely he can. There is a reason he is back-to-back MVPs. He is dominant. Now, the Bucks have gotten another all-star caliber player for Giannis. And this team will absolutely destroy the regular season. There's no doubt in my mind that this team should be the best team in the NBA. Whether it leads them to an NBA championship is up to Giannis, not only because he's the best player, but he needs to develop an ability to adapt. If the defense is giving him space to shoot, he needs to prove that he can make the shot, which he did. He proved a bit last year. He showed that he has been working on his jumper, unlike some Philadelphia 76er player. But yeah, because the defense, the NBA teams are learning who Giannis is. A big player who likes to drive and attack. So good coaches, Stevens, Spoelstra, Rivers. I just lost the name of a bunch of other coaches. LeBron. A bunch of other coaches I'm sure there are other great ones I'm forgetting, but we'll learn how to play against Giannis, and he needs to be able to learn to adapt. Develop a constant three, make him play out, and then attack and pass out, get that triple double. But yeah, I think they definitely can win a championship if Giannis learns how to adapt. Granted, that is coming from someone in 3 years of playing basketball has not been able to adapt. So take that with the however you want to take that, like however much you want to actually care about that. Yeah. So the next question is, will Giannis come back? If the Bucks lose in anywhere, I think from the Eastern Conference Finals to the first round, he should not come back. If they at least make it to the finals, he should be back. That's I don't know. I'm not the smartest when it comes to like when that things need to be signed, but I think he can. He'll like even if he doesn't sign an extension during the season, he can sign it in the off season and come back. I think I might sound like an idiot for not knowing for sure, but I just don't. But I think if they make the NBA championship, he needs to come back and grow and play at least one more year with Drew Holiday, and I think then maybe they can definitely win it. But if they win it, then absolutely come back. But let's say they don't make it to the finals, and I don't think Giannis should come back. Well, who are the suitors? I don't know why I'm asking this because I literally have written I have no idea where. But I looked at a few things. A few possible suitors. I think. No, not the Lakers. They proved that with this offseason. They're not going for Giannis. I don't think the Warriors would have to trade something like Clay and Wiggins and Uber or something like that, at least to get Giannis. But the Heat are definitely suitors as they have some cap space to work with. And that's obviously a place Giannis has been rumored to. The Knicks are, again, an option as they have a lot of cap space. Like, if he doesn't resign and goes into free agency, the Knicks are definitely players in this. And the other one that I definitely think could happen, mainly due to the fact that they can have some cap space and are on the rise to contend in the East. The Atlanta Hawks, I think, are are a team that a little bit of a dark horse that could potentially get Giannis, especially dependent on how well they do this year. But my gut is telling me that I do not think he will end up re-signing, and I don't know where. But what should we expect from the Bucks? Wins. I think they will. It is a 72-game season, I believe. I think they can push 60 wins. Absolutely, like without a doubt, can get up to 60 wins, and only lose. If they get 60, then 12. But will absolutely dominate the season. The defense. You have Drew Holiday, Dante DiVincenzo, Chris Middleton, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Brook Lopez. I think that's the best defensive starting five in the league. So, yeah, expect a lot of wins. So I do have written here absolute best, which is basically, as a Bucks fan, these are your hopes for the year, and could honestly be like reality. Giannis goes back to back to back. I don't think it'll happen, but there's definitely a shot that he can. Second, Middleton and Holiday are all-stars with at least one of them being a starter. I don't know. My gut tells me that Middleton would be. I think Middleton is the better player out of the two. As we will see, Holiday drop in numbers a little bit, but I definitely think he should continue to play at an all-star level. But I think for the Bucks, you would ask for one of them to be a starter and Giannis as a captain, but you would ask for one of them to be a starter. Next, your next hope is Your next hope is that Brook Lopez doesn't decline. He's getting up in age. He can't run the floor like he used to. But But as long as he can stretch the floor and play great defense, or at least good defense, the Bucks will absolutely accept that. And finally, Dante DiVincenzo is just the do everything else guy. Like, you need a three made, that's you want to. Dante DiVincenzo is your man. That's what you want it to be. If you need defense on like a solid shooting guard, like so, if you're playing a team like the Lakers, Giannis is guarding Davis. Or wait, Giannis is guarding LeBron. Well, I don't know. Because this defensive team is, if you need someone to play defense, like if somebody else is struggling, Dante DiVincenzo can be your man. That's what you as Bucks fans should be hoping for, and honestly could expect from this Bucks team. But yeah, that's it for me. Much shorter video. Also, I didn't have anything close to like the Knicks length. But thank you all very much for watching. Please again leave a like and subscribe. Hopefully, I have something coming for the next video. It's a jersey that I hope will be here. But I hope to see you all then. And until then, have an amazing day. It should be tomorrow, if I don't know. But until I see you again, have an amazing day. And I will see you later. Adios.